Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another episode of The Pupil's Life. Gotta be on 18 by now, 18 or 19. And it's a Merry Christmas time. It is the fucking dandiest of the vine. I hope you celebrate with your family, 'cause I won't be celebrating with mine. Merry Christmas, everybody. Oh, wait, did I trigger you? Did I impose religion on you by wishing you a jolly old time this holiday season? Is that the correct term that we're supposed to use now, is happy holidays? Well, what if we offend a fucking Christian person by saying happy holidays, right? Why can't it just stick to what it was? Why does things have to change? Merry fucking Christmas, everybody. And if you're not celebrating Christmas, well, go fuck yourself. No, I'm kidding. Then celebrate Hanukkah or whatever the hell else that celebrate whatever else you want to celebrate. But yeah, no, that I heard that. I don't know where it was, but I heard somebody was telling a story about how they offended somebody by saying Merry Christmas. And man, that just made my day, because that really tops it. I mean, I know this has been happening for more than just this Christmas season, but it's the first year that I've become aware of how ridiculous it is. Yeah, because if it's like if you're a woman and you've got your head shaved and you got no tits, right? And you're walking around the street and somebody says, like, "Excuse me, sir," like, and you're gonna get mad at them. It's like, come on. Just, you did this to yourself. And I think we all did it to ourselves by making up a fucking holiday with a made-up person that delivers made-up gifts into our homes and our children's lives. Yeah, I read an article on Medium by this dude named Dan something or other. Yeah, I should probably look this up. But it was called "Why We Should Stop Lying to Our Children About Santa" or something like that. Let me get the actual fucking name. Dan Moore. It's his name. And it's called "Stop Lying About Santa." And the whole thing is about, how fucking, I don't want to use such a big word as insidious, but it is pretty fucked up, that you're just gonna commit to lying to your kid, like consciously lying to your child about a lot of things, the tooth fairy, and it's like, oh, but we want to teach them about magic and faith. We want to teach them about miracles that don't fucking exist. Or like, who are you trying to fool, right? You just want to look at your kid and be like, yeah, Santa's real, and fucking lie to them. But that's my takeaway for the holiday season, is stop lying about Santa. If I'm for some reason in a room full of children this holiday season and one of them asks me, "What's Santa gonna get you?" I'm just gonna be like, the fucking nothing, dude, because Santa's not real. And then it'll just become, like almost like the fire alarm went off, like just a bunch of yelling children. "Santa's not real," this man said. And the only other adult in the room with me will be like, well, that's not true. Everybody relax. Santa is real. And I'll be the bad guy, right? Because I'm telling the truth. Isn't that fucked up how sometimes that happens? You know, you get the finger for trying to tell the truth. You know, if your girl's getting cheated on, and I don't mean your girl like your girlfriend, but if your homegirl's getting cheated on and you find out and you tell her, then all of a sudden you're the bad. It's like you cheated on her. It's like, oh my god, you've known about this and you didn't tell me. It's like, yeah, I fucking knew about it for a week. Can you not respect me enough to understand that I was debating whether or not to ruin your fucking relationship? Anyway, good morning, people. And yes, you heard that right. I am doing this in the morning today. And you know, it's a nice change of pace. My brother's asleep in the room next door, and I've got my fingers crossed he won't wake up anytime soon. Fucker probably shouldn't wake up anytime soon. You know, he came home at like 4 in the morning. Comes home at 4 in the morning. Anytime he works at a bar now. So, you know, get those 8, 7, 8, 9 hours of sleep. And let me do my podcast in peace. Yeah. Good morning and happy holidays and welcome to my fucking podcast. That's what you're here for, right? You're not here to celebrate Christmas with me. You're not here to do shit but listen, right? What am I here to What am I here to share today? Well, I don't know. The holidays are an interesting time of year for me. I think they are for everybody, but I'm here to speak about my experience. So, just here to speak about me and not be critical of others and not judgmental and yada fucking yada. But no, I've been sober for over 2 weeks now, which to me sounds kind of silly, you know, but I always undersell myself. It's like 2 weeks a month ago would have been unthinkable to me, you know? So, pretty fucking proud of that, pretty happy. That's how I'm celebrating the holidays, you know? It's by bettering myself. And that's the gift that I give myself. It's just the gift of self-care and self-love. And so I've been sober for over 2 weeks. I have not been dating or on dating apps for over 3 weeks. So all in all, I'm coming up around a month, right? If you add the two, and I've been like super fucking happy about that and super like positive. I've been meditating a lot more. I've went to a fucking meditation center, and you know, just like very, very cheery about life. And then Saturday rolls around and I'm headed to therapy, right? So I leave like an hour and a half early because I take the bus up there sometimes and it takes me about that long to get there. And so I get to the first, you know, I have to take a transfer. That's how fucking far away the bus is. I have to transfer buses. And so I'm sitting at the first bus stop, right? Bus is supposed to be there at the half-hour mark, and by the time it gets to like 11:40, bus is just now getting there at 10 minutes late. And you know, I finished reading that book about surrendering and all this shit about letting life happen to you and stop trying to control things. So I'm like, all right, dude, it's fucking 10 minutes. That's why you left an hour and a half early, is so that you could expect these things to happen. And so I get on the fucking bus, and then we get to the place where I'm supposed to transfer. And I'm just thinking, like, you know, the bus I'm on right now, it'll still take me to where I'm going. It'll just drop me off a little bit farther away. and there's more stops along the way, so I'm like, I should transfer because the other bus will get there faster, right? That's what I'm thinking. And so I'm debating it. Fuck it. I take my bike off the bus, get off, and I wait for the next one. I transfer. And what do you know? The next fucking bus is like 15 minutes late. So now, my hour and a half of being early is pretty much, I'm still late. You know, not even like, oh, I'm going to be on time. I'm late now. And I'm tapping my fucking feet, waiting for this transfer, and it gets there. Two of them get there, right? Two of the same bus. And the first one pulls up, and the driver's just nodding his head. And he's like, you're not getting on this bus. It's empty. And I'm just like, fucking, why the, like, you know, just like more shit. Like, why the fuck can't I get on the bus? Why did you stop if you can't fucking take people on the bus? You piece of shit. You know, you're just teasing me. And so I walk over to the other bus, right? I'd already had my fucking bike on there, and so I have to take my bike off again and fucking walk it to the other bus. And then this bus does take me, right? And then we're headed up, and but the bus that was in front of us that didn't take us is stopping at every stop for like 5 minutes. And we're waiting because we can't pass the same bus because they're supposed to be ahead of us, right? On the schedule. Or whatever the fuck. And then, you know, I'm like, I'm pretty fucking stressed out on the bus. I'm like not surrendering to life at all. I'm looking at my phone. I'm just like fucking fidgeting. And I'm remembering, you know, this is out of your control. This is happening for a reason. Just let it go. Just fucking let it go. Just take some deep breaths. Somebody gets on the bus and sits next to me, right? So now I gotta put my bags on my fucking lap and you just scrunch up into the corner. And so then I'm like, all right, we got a few green lights. I email my therapist. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, I'm going to be like 5 to 10 minutes late. And then what do you know? We stop at another, we're at another stop. And you just hear, and you look at the front and there's the ramp. You know, the ramp that takes like 30 seconds to unfold onto the sidewalk. And there's a fucking, what do you call them these days, right? A paraplegic, a handicapped person, a disabled human. I don't know why people think that saying disabled is in any way better than handicapped or paraplegic or whatever. I mean, I know paraplegic is not sometimes what you are if you're in a wheelchair. But, you know, I feel like handicapped is a much nicer thing to say than paraplegic. Or not paraplegic, disabled, right? Because disabled implies a negative connotation with it. It's like it's like if you're playing a video game and you know, P1 and P2, player 1 and player 2, and then it says P2 has been disabled. You know, that means you can't fucking play anymore. But if you just add a little bit of handicap to P2, that means you're off to a better start, right? And yeah, maybe it's because you suck at the fucking game, but still, you know, you're off to a better start. So you're gonna win. You have a better chance at winning, I guess. And so yeah, fucking handicapped. I'm still calling them that because, you know, they've got a handicap in life. They got fucking ramps unfolding and people helping them out everywhere they go. People feel bad for them, right? It's like, motherfucker, everybody's got cards they were dealt with. You know, theirs just happened to be a physical impairment. Physically impaired is what you're supposed to call them. There you go. You figured it out. Was that so hard? Is it so hard for you to just say physically impaired? Nobody in my family is handicapped or in a wheelchair, but it still triggers me. But anyway. So this fucking guy is like holding up the bus even longer, right? But now it hits me. Now it hits me like, ah, you fucking prick. Huh? Here you are, sitting with all four limbs, riding a fucking bicycle, nonetheless, and going to therapy, going to work on your mental health, and which not a lot of people have the opportunity to do. And you're stressed out about the bus being late, and here's this fucking person who has got it worse than you, right? Even though I just made that whole argument about how it's all relative, in that moment, I'm just thinking, like, all right, you can't be mad anymore, dude. Like, the reason you're late is somebody that has it worse than you. And so, of course I was still fucking like, still like kind of fucking angry on the bus, but I don't know, just being aware of the fact that I was not allowing myself to surrender and trying, just, sitting there and fucking like, yeah, it's not gonna help, but like, taking deep breaths and shit, like, I think it did help in some way, because, I get to therapy and I talk about the bus situation for 30 seconds and then I'm fine, move on. And I had a great session. But the whole fucking reason I brought that up is not just to tell you a silly story about the bus. It's because, I've been like, hooray me, I'm sober, I'm fucking not dating, I'm meditating, I'm feeling great. And at the very end of the session, my therapist was like, man, I'm bummed out we didn't get to talk about family, because I know it's the holidays and I know it's a hard time of year for a lot of people. And I was like very quick to be like, I'm not concerned about it, right? Like, yeah, we could talk about it next week. I'm not super concerned about it. And as soon as I leave and I'm on the other bus coming back, I'm like, yeah, I'm not fucking concerned, right? I'm not fucking concerned. And I'm on the fucking bus. And then the bus driver's like, excuse me, I'm gonna need everybody to get off the bus. This bus is running late, but there's another one right behind it, so I need everybody to get up off the bus and get on the next bus, and just, it'll be free, just, like, that makes up for it, right? It's like, you better fucking hope it's free. Because you're not going to force us off this bus if we don't, like, if we decide to revolt, there's no fucking way you can get us 35 people off this bus. You could just stay there and not bus, but then you're just going to be even more late, right? And I think a better alternative would have been like, this bus is running late, so it's going to skip the next 7 stops. If any of those are yours, then get the fuck off, right? Because then I could stay on, because I'm riding the bus for 40 minutes, and my life would be better. But, so I just got off the bus and was like, fuck it, I'm just going to bike the rest of the way, right? It's all downhill. But it started to hit me, like, oh man, I'm bummed that we didn't get to talk about family. Fucking, I'm not concerned. Am I? Am I concerned? And just as the days went by, I started to realize, like, it's not that I'm concerned, but I went to another meeting on Monday, and people were all talking about being generous this holiday season, and one act of kindness does X number of shit to the fucking universe, and blah, 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 blah. And I just found myself being angry the whole meeting, Here's all these people celebrating the holidays. One woman was like, my mom's a hoarder, but every Christmas she clears out one of the rooms on the second story of her house. She clears out half of the room, just this one little corner, for me to stay with her, because I've told her, I'm not going to keep coming if you don't clean up the house. And so every holiday season, she clears out this one little room where I can stay, and it's not a big space, but it's enough for me, is what she said. It's enough for me. And yeah, by January it's packed up with shit again. But every holiday season, that's how she shows me that she cares and she loves about me. Is that um, she clears out this room for me, and I was like, fucking A, dude. That's such a sweet thing. Why am I so angry? And when it got to being my turn to share, I just unloaded, I just fucking. Even like life was like, dude, you gotta yawn. Wait, give me a second. You gotta yawn, because this is some heavy shit. No, and truly it's not that heavy. Yeah, when I shared, I was just like, well, fucking generosity and giving to me, my whole life has been corrupted, you know? Like, if I would get something growing up, like, oh, can I use the car to go see my girlfriend? Not only would my dad be like, oh, you gonna go fucking see her again? Oh, again? Like I'm doing something wrong, which immediately puts it in my head that, like, seeing my girlfriend this many times was something was up with that. So I start to doubt myself, and I start to put it in my head that, like, maybe seeing my girlfriend or my partner less and spending more time alone is the better alternative, right? That was the subconscious thing, but then it's also just like, well, fuck, every time I want to see her, I have to ask him to use the car. And if I have to ask him to use the car, he's going to say, again? It's like, fucking, who wants to, I don't want to have that be the response. That's why my brother and I lied about our girlfriends for so long. Because it's like, that's how they would react, was just like, oh, I've got a girlfriend. And it's like, oh, yeah, you got a fucking girlfriend. Like, just teasing you and fucking making fun of you and shit. And it's like, it never felt safe to bring shit to them. But so I would ask him for the car, and then sure, eventually he would let me use it. And then the very next morning, I get a knock on my door at 6 in the fucking morning. And it's like, hey, I need some help with some shit. And I'm like, dude, I'm fucking tired. Like, go fuck yourself, right? Like, let me get the Z's. Let me get the Z's in before you ask me to assist you. And then he would say, oh yeah, well, guess what? Next time you ask me to use the car, I'm going to think twice about it. And it's like, just so frustrating in that moment, because you feel like you were lied to, and you feel like you're fucking being manipulated too. It's like, so the only reason that you let me use the car is so that you could hold that over me the next time you wanted a favor, And so whenever people give me or offer me shit these days, it always feels like there's, like, I can't just trust that they are offering something just because they want to. When people are like, oh, do you need a ride home? I'm always just like, God, I don't want to, first of all, I don't want to make them go out of their way. But then it's also like, well, then they might, God damn, dude, this is what happens when I do these in the morning. Oh, let me stretch. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Dude, stretching when you're 6'3" is like the best fucking thing in the world. Yeah, people offer me rides, and I'm just subconsciously, I think, I don't want them to have that leverage over me. And so I don't like saying yes straight up. And then, of course, being exposed to this kind of behavior my whole fucking life, I learned, like, that is just naturally what I do now as well. And obviously, I'm aware of that now, so I'm trying to change it. And when I do it, I become aware of it, and I'm like, all right, dude, You can't expect something this time. Maybe you offered it because you were expecting something, but you're screwed now. All right, because that's not how shit works. So just suck it up, and if they say no, then just be okay with it. But naturally, that is also, my way of giving has always. I've learned to only give when you want to receive, and so this happens to me in relationships too. It's like, um, you go down on your partner, and you're kind of not. Why am I speaking like this is in broad terms? I go down on a partner, and deep down I'm thinking like, all right, well then this will mean it's their turn next to go down on me, and I'm not saying that's how the whole relationship is, but that's what I'm fighting. It's like, no, dude, you're just doing it because you want to fucking do it, and don't worry about whether they're gonna do it too or when they're gonna do it. Don't fucking keep tally. That's the best way to compare this or metaphor this, is like keeping tally. It's always felt like people are keeping tally on my rights and wrongs, and as soon as my wrongs outweigh my rights, I'm gonna have to do rights until I get to the fucking point where I can start doing wrongs again. I don't know, but so I just unloaded all this shit on the fucking room. And I fucking, god damn, dude, I should just call this the snooze cast. Yeah, I booked it after that. I just, meeting ended, and I just fucking booked it. Because I wasn't feeling social. I wasn't feeling anything except for angry and frustrated. Frustrated that I felt that way. And also frustrated because the more that I get to know the people in this group, which is a group I've only been going to for about 3 weeks to a month, the more that I get to know them, the less I feel comfortable, sharing openly. And I'm not sure. I mean, I know it's got something to do with trust. I do have a lot of trust issues. But it's just like, it felt so good going there the first couple of weeks. And now it's like, well, these people know me, and they've got some kind of expectation of me, and if I don't meet that expectation, it's like I'm making up all these fucking narratives in my head. And so I told myself, like, dude, just fucking book it. If you go out to dinner with these people, they're going to be like, some of them might not talk to you, right? Because they're like, you were angry tonight. That's out of character. And like, you can't be angry. Like, people expect the best from you. And fucking my mom's voice of like, oh, you're getting C's and D's, and fucking you can do better than that. And it's like, you fucking getting angry? It's like, you can do better than that. And like, right? It's always fucking, I can do better than that. That's always what I've been fucking told my whole fucking life. And it's not just my parents, it's my fucking teachers. And it still goes on to this day. My uncle and my fucking adults, right? That only believe things should be one way. And it's like, oh, well, you fucking, I was talking to my uncle a few months ago about how family to me is a choice. And he was like, no, you're fucking wrong. And like, I thought that same thing about my mom, and then I learned this shit about fucking family, and family's forever, and family's blood. Like, you owe it to your family because they had you. And it's like, it's not fucking, what's the fucking word, binary or black and white? It's not all black and white, dude. Like, I don't know, dude. Even talking about this shit gets me riled up. But all that to say that I've been thinking about how I should spend this holiday, Christmas. And, I believe I'm going to have Tuesday and Wednesday off from work. which is Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And I swear, dude, if I yawn one more fucking time, and I don't know, I'm thinking about, like, what's my brother gonna be up to? He is family, and he does live here, and he is somebody that I enjoy spending time with. So maybe we can fucking, play some fucking video games or do something, right? I guess my intention is gonna be not to spend that day alone, because I've done that in the past. My first couple years in Austin, when I still didn't know many people, and I was working because I was like, fucking dude, I gotta make it. I can't miss $1. I remember I worked on New Year's Eve, and then I just went home and went to bed, right? Like, got home at like 10 p.m. I was like, dude, I'm fucking tired. It's New Year's Eve. What? To me, it's just a Thursday. And I went to bed, and I woke up the next day and didn't feel any different, motherfucker, dude. But when my therapist said, I want to talk about, because it's a hard time of year for a lot of people. It's like maybe I'm blocking it out. How fucking frustrated it makes me that I don't feel like spending time with my family, because my family to me just represents like a lot of negative shit. And they're not even, most of them are people I don't enjoy spending time with. Forget about like who's right and who's wrong in this big scheme of things. We're all gonna die, and we're all just blimps on the timeline of the universe. But it's like I don't enjoy spending time with them. So what the fuck am I gonna decide to spend this supposedly cheery time of year with people that I don't enjoy spending time with? It can be as basic as that. And so good news is that, I think my brother will be here, and my best buddy Chris will be in town, and also I'll be in town. I'll be in town, and I'm the only thing I need. At least that's what all these fucking meetings and peoples and therapies and books are telling me. You're where you have to start. Oh, fucking A. Dude, at this point, if you guys have turned it off, I give you permission, to just, oh man, that's bright. I give you permission to just hit the X on the top right corner of your screen, or just lock your phone if you're listening to it on your phone, because I'm probably putting a lot of people to sleep. What else, man? That fucking therapy thing and the boss and all that bullshit. What was fun is after, I guess this was the silver lining, right, in that meditation meeting shit where I was angry, is that after it, I leave really quickly, right, and I've got a message from my buddy Chris, and he's like, oh, bro, I'm going to put you down as a reference for Honda. And I was like, okay. But I hit him up because I'm close to where he lives. And I'm like, dude, you fucking free? You want to hang out? I'll put you to sleep with some yawns. And he's like, yeah, bro, come over. So I go over to his place, and I'm feeling kind of like just fucking frantic all over the place. But he picks me up on the side of the street because it's fucking cold out, and he picks me up in a brand new fucking 2020 Honda Civic. And he's just like rolls up and he's like, get in the fucking car, pussy. Right? Like, I didn't see him because I expected his Mitsubishi Galant from the fucking 1920s to roll up. And instead it's just this 2020 Civic rolls up. Get in the car, pussy. And, immediately it just, like, he just has this way of, like, breaking the ice and making you feel like, fucking A, I'm with Chris again. Like, God, thank God, dude, I'm with fucking Chris again, right? He's one of those guys that's got that kind of, yeah, like the best way to describe it is I did acid with this dude once, and every time I had done it prior was like a fucking dark experience, and I didn't trust the people I was with, and I was paranoid and in my head and shit. I did it with him, and it was like no fucking any of those thoughts at all. You know, it was just a happy, fucking silly, funny time. And that's really who this guy is. You know, he's just, you know, he's been through so much shit too, but he has this way of just being nice to you and making you feel good about yourself. Just making you feel comfortable, I guess, being around him. It's not about making me feel good about myself. It's about just, yeah, he makes me feel comfortable being around him and comfortable being myself. Uh, you know, and he told me once he's got selective hearing, and and when I told him about, uh, you know, when I was having conversations with people about my memoir and telling them about the prostitution, and then, yeah, fuck, you know, I've sucked some dicks before. We were at a bar, and I was like, yeah, dude, I gotta tell you something, and I started telling him, and I was like, yes, I've been prostituting myself, and blah blah fucking blah, and he just kind of like zoned out, like he heard me, but he was looking somewhere else, and and it didn't feel like he was ignoring me, right? It just felt like this dude doesn't give a shit. You know, and not in the sense that like he's not having it, but he's just like, yeah, what else is new, bro? What else is new with you, right? Like he just kind of he asked some questions, and he was like, fucking didn't make a thing of it. Uh, and so this is who this guy is, right? And this just picks me up in his fucking Honda Civic, and we go back to his place, and he's got like this crazy fucking dog, right? That he's too nice to, what's the word, to like to correct her behavior. Because, you know, she'll be rowdy, and then he'll be like, all right, it's a timeout, and he'll fucking leash her up and tie her to like some corner of the room so that she's in her timeout. But then he'll feel bad, and he'll just let her off the leash again, and she'll just start going fucking wild again. And it's like, you know, sometimes he is too nice, but in the end, it's like it's just still it's so endearing. Um, But yeah, so we get to his place, and he's so excited about the car, and I'm fucking excited about the car, dude, because it's just like, this guy deserves it. You know, he's been driving around in a beat up Mitsubishi Galant that he's put more money into than it was worth, and he's dating a woman that's like pretty. I won't say negative, but it's just intense. What he has told me about it, the relationship, and what I've seen too. And so I get there, right, and I'm like, dude, I fucking shoulda, like, or not shoulda, but I'm just like, I'd been considering just going straight home after the meeting and just being by myself, right, and like, fucking, oh yeah, like some Ryan Atwood type. But we finally sit down. We're about to play this fucking card game called Dutch Blitz, and he gets a few text messages from this girl who he was supposed to see that night. And he's like, give me a second, I gotta fucking call her. He gives her a call. They get in a fucking huge argument, right in front of me, just like over the phone. He's just like she's pissed at him because he was supposed to see her, but he hadn't seen me in like 3 weeks, and it just so happened that I reached out, so he was like, oh, my fucking buddy, I want to see him. And they're not even monogamous or exclusive or whatever the fuck, you know, so it's not, you know, you could say it's not a very serious relationship. And so he's telling her, like, like, what did I do wrong? We had tentative plans and you said you were cooking, so I was just kind of waiting to hear from you. Not even sure we were going to hang out. And kind of giving her his side, and then she's just like, yeah, well, you know what? Then you just fucking, this isn't going to work, right? Click. And I just see his face drop. And I'm like, I just get up and I'm like, come here, dude. I fucking give him a hug. And I hold it for 10 seconds. And then I just kind of hear the guy out. And I start to feel better, Like, fucking focusing on somebody else instead of just becoming obsessed with my own feelings. And focusing on being there for him instead of, like, how can I be there for myself tonight, right? Because I'm angry. And it's like, maybe you need to fucking not focus on that and just... And that's what I did. And so we ended up talking about it for a while, and I heard him out, and it's like empathizing with the dude, and just, I would notice him kind of like, oh, but yeah, fucking, like, sports, and I would just be like, oh, it's okay, dude, like, we can talk about whatever you want. If you want to talk about that again in a few minutes, we can talk about that again. Just kind of trying to be there, and help in whichever way I could to help him not suppress how he was feeling, and just become a conversation about, like, thinking, right? Like, well, why is she doing this? It's like, well, that doesn't matter right now, bro. How are you feeling? And then we started playing Dutch Blitz at fucking 10 p.m., right? And we played, it was like, let's play until 25 points. And we played like 2 rounds, and it got to 25, and we were like, shall we play to 75? And we just like, fuck, immediately we're both just like in sync, like, yeah, 75. And then playing to 75, we ended up playing until like 1 in the fucking morning. And just, oh man, like laughing like we hadn't laughed in, or like I hadn't laughed, in years. In fucking years. And just, I don't know, it was almost like being high without being high, and by the end of the night, I was fucking tired, and I'd had the need to piss for like 3 hours, but I hadn't. So my body and all my meters were pretty depleted, but I was just feeling like, dude, fucking, this is who I need to spend Christmas with, and this is somebody that I should be grateful for this holiday season, because he's, I've never had a friend like that, and yes, I do have a lot of nervousness around trust, but this dude is like, all that he has, all that I have for the dude is love and trust, and I guess unconditional love, right? Because like, there's so many times where I'll reach out to him and be like, oh, dude, you want to hang out? He'll be like, yeah, let me think about it. And then like 20 minutes before we're supposed to hang out, he's like, feeling tired, like, or just make up some excuse. And with him, it's like, all right, dude, it's fucking Chris, just, it doesn't strike me as like the way that it does with other people, where, and it's not other people, it's still me, but like with other people, there's times where that will happen, and I'll be like, maybe this person doesn't really like being my friend, and like, that's when trust becomes an issue. It's like I'm questioning their friendship instead of trusting it. But yeah, so we ended up playing Dutch Blitz and just having a jolly old time, and the dude has got a brand new fucking car, and that's like, just like, there's so much light in that dude's life, despite how much darkness there is as well. and so that's something I'm grateful for this this holiday season. And another thing I'm grateful for is I think it was this was before all this shit happened, but I went to a meditation for grieving or grief processing, I guess. And I was kind of wasn't sure what it was that I was getting myself into at first, um and I show up and it's all women, right? Because no fucking guy is gonna go feel their feelings, right, in a public place. Nobody's gonna feel their feelings by themselves, much less in a public gathering. But we started with this grounded meditation, and then we just they started showing. Yeah, it's a fucking sad story. I don't need to talk about the whole thing, but I wrote a whole piece about it. It's called "Sailing with My Godfather," and it's on Medium. You can find it if you just search "Sailing with My Godfather" Medium, or if you just go to one of the links. If you're listening to this on YouTube, and but the whole point was just that I've had a hard time letting myself feel at these meetings. Like if when I get emotional and I feel like I'm gonna cry in a meeting, and I've talked about this before, but I just get it becomes a thinking man's game, because that's my defense mechanism for feeling emotions, is just to rationalize shit, just rationalize my way out of feeling. And I was at this grief processing thing, and I was grieving my godfather. That's why the piece is called "Sailing with My Godfather." And I was able to, let out some eye drops, let out some tears in his name and just in his memory, which I guess in a way is like the closest I've ever come to going to a funeral. And he passed away about a year ago. But other than the first day when I found out, I never really gave myself permission to cry, because I was like, well, it became rational. It was like, well, he lives in Mexico. I only go to Mexico once a year, once every other year. So really, nothing much has changed for me. And it's like, it's such a fucking cold way of looking at it, right? Because it's like, yeah, well, it's not just about you, dude. What about his family? And what about his kids? And what about his friends? And what about your fucking dad, right? My dad was like best friends with the guy. Probably one of his best friends, like one of his top 3, right? It's like his version of Chris. This fucking dude that didn't bring anything other than light into the world, and was always smiling, and was just, he was one of the people that supported my writing the most, if not the person that supported it most. And so when I was sharing about him, and I was telling people in the room, like, I think he reads English a little bit, but not very well. And so a few weeks after he passed, a few weeks before I published my first ever Spanish book, is when he passed away. And he had been so fucking excited to read it. I had told him about it just a few months back, and I like described the whole fucking book to him, and he was one of the people that I wrote it for. I wrote it for him and for all my Mexican family and friends that don't speak English. And he was probably the only person that actually would have gone out of his way to read it. But he, unfortunately, life just decided that shouldn't happen, that he should leave, way too fucking soon. And so that was a hard moment, I guess, and I didn't really process that, I guess, until a year after. last week. But it was very, there was people there grieving terminal cancer, people that had been diagnosed terminal cancer, and it's just like, holy shit. I don't think I've ever been in the same room as somebody else that is going to die. And yeah, just, I don't know, going to meetings where people are talking about addiction is very helpful because you get perspective, you gain perspective, and you also gain a sense of belonging. And going to this thing where people are grieving for things that are a little bit more intense, I guess, is also, but it was just a more intense version of that perspective, I guess, because it's like the person who had been diagnosed terminal cancer was like, I got this thing put in my lungs, which means I can never swim again until I die. And, like, I know I'm going to die, but for some reason I don't give a shit about that. All that I care about is swimming. I want to just get in the water and swim again, but I'll never be able to again. And man, it's just shit like that really gets me, that really breaks your heart. And it's also stuff like that helps me, or that helped me in that meeting to kind of get outside of myself and like, all right, everybody's here to cry and to process their grieving and emotions. Forget about your insecurities, dude. That's what you came here for. And hearing these crazy, sad stories, just that also made me cry. And you feel a sense of connection, even though these are people that you have never met in your life before. You do feel a very deep sense of connection because you all chose to spend your Friday night like that. So, if you want to read that piece, it's Sailing with My Godfather, and it's on Medium. And yeah, it's like a legacy, I guess, that I left behind for myself, for him, and for his family. They all read it, and they all got fucking stoked when they read it. They were over the moon. They were like, you captured his personality perfectly, and also just what life meant to him. And that's really the reason that I wrote it, is in part for myself to process and to keep processing my feelings, but because I don't know, because it would help somebody else, and it did help them, and they said they all got super excited, so yeah, enough about the sad shit. I've saved this one little thing to end the podcast on, and I might lose some of you because it's about a controversial person, right? And no, it's not Donald Trump. Not everything is about fucking politics, okay? It's about the M and the M. Marshall motherfucking Mathers. Even though that's MMM. Yeah. So he released a song called Lord Above, and he brought up this beef, right, with Nick Cannon and Mariah Carey from like 20 years ago. And then Nick Cannon was just like jumped at the opportunity for some fucking relevance, and he made a diss track with Suge Knight. Yeah, you heard that right. Nick Cannon made a diss track with Suge Knight. A fucking villain. And a lot of people are like, why do people even keep trying to beat M? He's a fucking legend, and like nobody's ever gonna be better than him. He's the GOAT. and you know, I agree. But I also realize, like, why do people keep trying to diss him and one up him, and, like, you know, why are they trying to battle rap the rap god? And it's because he's the fucking greatest. You know, it's as simple as that. You know, if I, as a poker player, my fucking dream is to beat Phil Ivey in a hand. You know, who is Phil Ivey? He's, to me, the greatest poker player in the history of the game. And so, yeah, of course people are trying to beat Eminem. Yeah, he's a fucking 40-year-old dude now. But he's still probably one of the best ones out there. And so who the fuck else are you going to try and beat, right, if it's not the best? What are you going to go after, like, a Lil Xan? You know, like, if you beat him, people are going to be like, yeah, well, so fucking what? Who is that? Lil Xan? Like, of course you're going to try to beat the greatest. And did Nick Cannon come close? Even come close to beating Eminem? No. Did he even come close to beating him or to being on the same level as him? No. Of course not. He went the other way, you know? He fucking just embarrassed himself, I think. The song he made had like 5 fucking rappers on it, right? Just make the song by yourself, dude. Can you not carry a rap song by yourself? And then it ends with this voicemail from Suge Knight that's like, yo, you don't fuck with us, right? Because we got people on the streets, and we don't see you out on the streets. We gonna come to your house, and we got guns, and fucking... And it just made it about violence. And that's what people... I think that is why I fucking love Eminem. Is that, like... Did he make a career out of violence? Yeah. Was he violent? No. Did he make a career out of it? Yes. Because he fucking knows how to write music. And you know, it's like, instead of just making a shitty fucking song where when you're threatening people's lives, he made these amazing fucking songs where he is making jokes out of threatening people's lives and, you know, going over the top with it. And now that he's older and he's fucking battling other people, it's like he doesn't need to do that anymore, which just shows you his arc. You know, he's fucking matured. He has changed as a person. It's like him and Tucker Max are these two very controversial people, right? They both broke fucking records with their art, and people still choose to criticize them and say that they're not good artists. And it's like, eventually they matured too. He matured too. They both fucking they changed as human beings. And not a lot of people do that, you know. Donald Trump, fucking, how's he changed, right? He's just always been this prick. Is he funny? Fucking, I don't know. I don't really watch his shit, but I hear from people that he's a fucking riot. And who else, you know? Fucking, I don't even know, dude, because, like, I don't even know that many people that are that well known and that successful that do have an arc and that do change. So yeah, I guess that's it. I guess that's fucking it. Nick Cannon, suck a dick because your fucking track was garbage, dude. So yeah, thank you everybody for listening. Have a very happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever the fuck you're celebrating this year. And yeah, I guess, yeah, this one thing that did stick with me from my meeting about generosity is, like, just just instead of thinking about gifting gifts, like physical things, the best thing that we can give somebody else this holiday season is our full attention. So whoever you're with, put your fucking phones away. Just be with them. Enjoy the evening, you know. We make such a big deal out of it. We might as well take advantage of it. So give people your full attention this holiday season. And yeah, thank you for listening to The Pupil's Life.